The Titan Deep Space Monitoring Array was not supposed to receive anything unusual. Most days, the massive radio dishes scanned emptiness, quiet, cold, endless space. The station crew joked that the most exciting thing they had ever received was a distorted broadcast from an old Earth sitcom. But on this particular morning, everything changed. Dr. Rayan Malik was the first to notice the strange pulse. He sat alone in the control room, sipping rehydrated coffee and watching the monitors with half-lidded eyes. Then, the data screen flickered. A thin line of code appeared out of nowhere, repeating over and over like a heartbeat. At first, Rayan assumed it was just another system glitch. Titan's equipment was old, and the maintenance teams were slow to respond. But the pulse did not stop. Instead, it grew stronger and clearer, too clean to be noise, too structured to be random. With trembling fingers, Rayan called up the translation algorithms. The computer hesitated for a moment, then displayed the result. Unknown mathematical language detected. Star map data found. Rayan sat up so fast he spilled coffee on his shirt. Star map data? That alone would have been extraordinary. But as the computer continued to break down the signal, his confusion only deepened. The map pointed toward a region of space that should have been empty, no planets, no stations, not even debris. He zoomed in. The map ended on a single bright point. The Sunday. Rayan blinked. That can't be right, he whispered. He tried again, using a second algorithm. Same result. A third. Same result. The signal wasn't just pointing toward the sun, it was centered on it, as if whoever sent it had been studying humanity's home star long before humans existed. His heart raced. He knew he couldn't handle this alone. Commander Leora Hayes arrived at the control room 20 minutes later, her short, dark hair still messy from sleep. She looked like someone who could go from tired to sharp in a single breath. And that was exactly what she did when Rayan showed her the data. She leaned over the display, eyes narrowing. "You're telling me this is an alien signal?" "I'm saying it's not from us," Rayan said. "And the math, it's far beyond anything we use. The patterns are too perfect, too intentional." Leora tapped the table, thinking quickly. She had a reputation for seeing patterns others missed. Some called it instinct, others called it impossible. Either way, she rarely ignored her gut. "Show me the rest," she said. Rayan pulled up the hidden portion of the signal. The hidden code reminded him of a lock that opened only when every digit clicked perfectly into place. Leora frowned. "This doesn't look like a message." "It isn't," Rayan said. "It's a warning." The buried code displayed a sequence of star systems, each marked with a simple symbol, a circle with a line through it. All the systems were ancient, some so old that humanity had only scanned them briefly, and yet the signal mapped them with perfect precision, as if whoever created it had visited them millions of years ago. "The circles mean these stars are dead," Rayan said quietly. "But the strange thing is, some of them should still be alive. Their natural lifespans are longer than the entire history of human civilization." Leora crossed her arms. "But they're gone?" "Not just gone," Rayan whispered. "Destroyed." A heavy silence filled the room. Outside the window, Titan's orange haze drifted slowly, calm and unaware. Leora finally took a deep breath. "This signal is telling us something is coming, or something has been here before." 1. "We think the tells." Rayan nodded gloomily. Within the next hour, the control room had transformed. More scientists, engineers, and analysts crowded in. Their voices a mix of excitement and fear. Machines hummed louder as they pulled in more of the strange signal. Every new fragment only added to the mystery. Someone discovered a sequence that resembled a countdown, but no one could determine what it was counting toward. Someone else found a pattern that suggested a rotating object, massive and artificial. Every discovery raised more questions. But the most puzzling part was the final line of the decoded message. You are next, but not alone. Leora stared at that sentence longer than anything else. The phrasing was strange, almost poetic. Was it a threat? A statement? A observation? It didn't fit with the rest of the precise mathematical language. It feels, she murmured, searching for the right word. Personal. Rayan shivered. Do you think the sender is still alive? Leora tilted her head. The ruins in the star map systems are millions of years old, but their technology might still function, even if they don't. So the message could be automated? He asked. Possibly, she said. But it's also possible they predicted someone like us would discover it eventually. Several heads snapped toward her. Someone like us? One researcher asked. Humanity, Leora clarified. A fast-evolving, risk-taking species that has the habit of solving problems others avoid. Maybe we're not the first, but we might be the last chance to understand what happened to these stars. The room grew tense. Everyone understood the gravity of her words. As more data came in, the pattern became undeniable. The message wasn't simply information. It was an invitation. A set of coordinates appeared, shifting and adjusting until they formed a precise location, a place far beyond the borders of explored space, a place no known civilization had ever visited. Leora leaned closer to the screen. Why would someone send this to us? They had to know we'd find it. Rayan sighed. Or maybe they were hoping we would. She stepped back, her mind racing. She had always believed that humanity's greatest strength was curiosity, the drive to explore even when danger was certain. And here was a chance to prove it again. We need a mission ready within 24 hours, she said. The room erupted with objections. That's too fast. We don't have clearance. We need more data. But Leora raised a hand, silencing them. We don't have the luxury of time. If the countdown in this message is real, then something may already be on its way. We can't wait for the Earth Council to argue for weeks. I'm starting a rapid response expedition. Anyone who wants to help should be on board by tomorrow. Rayan stared at her with wide eyes. Leora, are you sure? Lost. Are you sure? She nodded. Yes. Someone reached across space to warn us. I won't ignore that. Later that evening, Leora stood alone on Titan's observation deck. The thick windows showed the distant shine of stars. Faint, but steady. Somewhere out there, something ancient had left a trail for humanity to follow. She thought about the dead systems marked with the strange symbol, about the perfect mathematical precision, about the final line of the message. You are next, but not alone. She wondered what exactly the message meant. Did it mean humanity was in danger? Or did it mean humanity had allies they didn't know about yet? She didn't have answers. Not yet. But she did know one thing. Humanity had been noticed, and that meant the galaxy was about to change. The starship Aurora's path cut through deep space like a silver arrow, moving faster than any ship humanity had sent beyond charted space. Commander Leora Hayes stood on the bridge, watching the stars stretch into thin white lines. Every light on the screen looked calm and peaceful. But she knew the truth. Beyond that peaceful glow waited a system filled with ancient ruins and unanswered questions. It had been only 2 days since Titan received the alien signal. 2 days of rushing, planning, and convincing. Somehow, Leora managed to gather a full crew, secure emergency approval, and launch the expedition before Earth's political leaders even realized what was happening. Now, they were halfway to the coordinates. Rayan Malik stood beside her, holding a tablet covered with data streams. His eyes were tired but bright with excitement. The closer we get, he said, the clearer the signal becomes. It's like the message is guiding us directly to the origin. Leora nodded. Good. That means whoever left this trail wanted us to find it. Rayan hesitated. Or They needed someone to. She didn't respond. She didn't need to, because deep inside, she felt the same thing. Whoever sent the message wasn't just leaving information behind. They were leaving responsibility. The Aurora's path finally dropped out of faster-than-light travel, and the stars snapped back into normal shapes. A large hologram lit up above the bridge, showing a star system unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The central star was dead. It hung in the middle of black space like a cracked stone, cold, dull, and silent. Orbiting it were enormous structures, each one dozens of kilometers wide. They weren't natural. They weren't even close to natural. The crew gasped. "What are those floating things?" a young pilot whispered. "They look like rings," another said. "But they're broken." Rayan zoomed the hologram closer. "They're megastructures," he said slowly. "Artificial. Built by a civilization far older than any we know." Rayan zoomed the hologram. 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 Leora stepped forward. The structures drifted like giant metal skeletons, half-complete circles, shattered beams, fragments of colossal panels. Some sections were so massive that entire human cities could fit inside them. "Are they abandoned?" Leora asked. "More than abandoned," Rayan replied. "They're extinct." The ship approached the nearest structure, and the scanners began to hum. "Life signs?" Leora asked. The response came quickly. "None. Nothing biological. Nothing artificial. No active systems. It's empty." They launched a small landing craft and flew into one of the broken megastructures. The interior was a maze of metallic walls, shattered corridors, and silent machinery. Everything was ancient, older than human records, older than many stars still burning in the galaxy. Some walls carried faded symbols that no translation system recognized. Rayan touched one of the markings gently. "Whoever lived here must have had incredible technology. These walls are made from materials we can't even identify." Leora scanned the room with careful eyes. If they had such advanced technology, why did their star die? No one answered. Farther inside the structure, they discovered a chamber sealed behind a massive door. The door curved like a giant shield, covered with mathematical shapes. When Rayan approached with the handheld scanner, the shapes lit up faintly, like embers waking after a long sleep. The chamber door slid open. Inside, they found a vault. It wasn't filled with treasure or artifacts. Instead, the vault held a single device floating in mid-air, glowing softly like a captured star. Its surface shifted constantly, like liquid metal rearranging itself. The crew stared, unsure whether to get closer or step back. "What is that?" a soldier whispered. Rayan's scanner buzzed. "It's a data core, but the technology is far beyond anything we understand." Leora stepped closer, and to everyone's shock, the core reacted. It brightened, rotated, and projected a hologram into the air. The hologram showed a sequence of images: stars dying, systems collapsing, black lines spreading across space like cracks in a window. Then came a symbol, a swirling shape with 3 arms stretching outward. Rayan frowned. That symbol appeared in the original signal too. "I think it represents the threat the extinct civilization faced." "What threat?" Leora asked. Rayan swallowed. "Something that destroys stars." The room grew colder, though the temperature hadn't changed. The hologram shifted again, and everyone leaned in. This time, the image showed something unbelievable. Earth, humanity's home planet, appeared clearly, along with a detailed scan of the sun, the moon, and several landmarks. It was impossible. This extinct civilization shouldn't have had any reason to know Earth existed, let alone study it in such detail. The final image was a blueprint, a grand, complex design. It looked like a network of machines, reactors, and energy cores surrounding a star. The name appeared below it in alien script, but the translation system provided a rough result. The Ember Protocol. Leora whispered the words. So this is what they wanted us to find. Rayan nodded. Yes, and according to the data, this Ember Protocol was never completed by the original builders. They failed before they could finish it. The hologram pulsed with one more set of symbols. Rayan tilted his head, watching them carefully. When he realized what they meant, his expression shifted from curiosity to disbelief. The vault has a genetic lock, he said slowly. It was designed to open only for a species with rapid evolution, adaptable neural patterns, and extreme problem-solving behavior. Leora raised an eyebrow. And which species fits that description? Rayan looked at her with a mix of fear and awe. Us, humans. Before they could discuss it further, alarms rang through the chamber. The voice from the landing craft spoke urgently through the comms. Commander Hayes, 3 alien ships just entered the system. They're approaching fast. Leora exchanged a quick look with Rayan. No one else should have known about these coordinates. How did they get here so quickly? Prepare for extraction, she ordered. Now. The team rushed back through the corridors, carrying high data scans of the vault and the Ember Protocol. Behind them, the vault remained glowing, softly waiting, almost expectantly. Once aboard the landing craft, Leora looked out the window. The incoming alien ships were sleek and dark, shaped like curved blades. Their engines glowed a cold blue. Rayan recognized the design. Those ships belong to the Valari Union, he said. They don't like sharing discoveries. Leora tightened her jaw. Back on the ship, the Aurora's path raced away from the ruins. The alien ships followed, sending encrypted messages demanding that humanity surrender all data related to the vault. They know we found something valuable, Rayan said. They can't have it. Leora replied firmly. The vault opened for humans. That means the Ember Protocol was meant for us. Leora. 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 The Valari ships grew closer, engines burning brighter. Alarms flashed. Commander, the pilot shouted. Activate hyperjump, Leora yelled. The engines roared. The stars blurred. A bright flash filled the bridge and the Aurora's path vanished into hyperspace just seconds before enemy weapons could strike. Silence fell. Humanity had escaped with the alien data. But they had also made enemies. And somewhere deep inside Leora's mind, one truth echoed over and over. The hunger destroyed ancient civilizations. The ruins were a warning. The Ember Protocol was the answer. And now, it belonged to humanity. The Aurora's path rushed back toward human space, its engines glowing like a comet's tail. Inside the ship, tension grew with every passing hour. The crew did not just carry data, they carried the legacy of a long-dead civilization and the responsibility of facing something powerful enough to consume stars. Commander Leora Hayes spent most of the return journey on the bridge, watching a large holographic map display the nearby star systems. Normally, the stars twinkled in calm white dots, steady and predictable. But today, many of them flickered with unstable light, their brightness shifting in unnatural patterns. Rayan Malik stood beside her, reading recent telescope reports. It's happening faster than we thought, he said quietly. Leora didn't look away from the map. How many systems? 7 confirmed. Rayan answered. 3 more showing early signs. These stars should have millions, maybe billions of years left. But now, something is draining them. Leora nodded slowly. Everyone knew what that something was. The hunger. The ancient civilization had tried to warn them. The secret message. The dead star in the ruins. The Ember Protocol. It was all connected. And now the galaxy was beginning to understand the truth. The ship entered the Sol system, and Earth's blue glow appeared on the view screens. Leora felt a mix of relief and dread. Relief that they reached home, and dread because she knew what would happen next. Politics, arguments, fear, and denial. As soon as they landed at the Global Space Authority headquarters, a large group of officials surrounded them. Scientists, military leaders, diplomats, and analysts filled the room. Leora and her team placed the Ember protocol data on the table. The hologram activated, displaying the same complex design they found in the Vault giant reactors, solar harnesses, and long-range energy channels. Dr. Aaron Shaw, one of Earth's top astrophysicists, stared in disbelief. This technology is impossible. It's necessary, Leora replied. The hunger is real. It destroyed the builders of the ruins. Their last hope was that someone else, someone like us, would finish what they started. The room murmured anxiously. A diplomat raised his hand. Commander Hayes, you're asking humanity to build a machine bigger than anything we've ever imagined. A machine meant to control energy at a stellar level. This is reckless. Leora met his eyes steadily. Reckless is ignoring a threat that destroys stars. The room fell silent. Then she pointed to the flickering stars on the display. The hunger is already attacking. If we don't act, our sun could become another dark ruin. The debate lasted for hours, but eventually, the decision was unanimous. Humanity would build the Ember Array. It would be the largest engineering project in human history. A ring of massive energy conduits, reactors, and stabilizers placed around the Sunday. Their job: gather energy, release controlled hyperflares, and push back whatever force was devouring the stars. 1,000 scientists began working immediately. Engineers filled every lab on Earth and its colonies. The best minds from Mars, Europa, Titan, and the orbital stations gathered together. But despite the excitement, fear quietly spread through the galaxy. Because the news had leaked, and suddenly, alien governments were contacting Earth every hour. Some sent messages begging for help. Others demanded information. A few, like the Valari Union, claimed humanity had no right to build such a device, calling it too dangerous. But humans had something no other species possessed. The Vault had chosen them. As construction began, Earth's telescopes detected something horrifying. 3 nearby stars dimmed within a single week, their light fading like candles blown out by an invisible wind. Whole alien civilizations panicked, sending desperate messages across the galaxy. We need your Ember Array. Save us. Share the technology. But humanity wasn't ready yet. The array was only 12% complete. Leora stood on a platform overlooking the massive Sun orbit construction zone. Dozens of giant machines moved slowly, assembling metal frames larger than skyscrapers. Workers in exosuits floated between them like silver insects. The scale was overwhelming. Rayan joined her, looking equally amazed and terrified. Do you think we can finish in time? Leora sighed. We don't have a choice. Rayan nodded. I analyzed more of the Vault's data. The Ember protocol. It does more than defend. It can restart stars. Leora turned sharply. Restart? Yes. If a star begins to collapse, the array can ignite a controlled hyperflare. Not enough to destroy, but enough to heal. Enough to stabilize it. Leora felt a strange warmth in her chest. So humans are not just defenders. We're supposed to be healers. Rayan smiled faintly. Star healers. But the galaxy was not ready to accept humanity as leaders. Some alien factions grew jealous. Others afraid. Rumors spread that humans were building a weapon capable of controlling suns. One evening, Leora received a message flagged urgent. It came from the Galactic Cooperative, a peaceful alliance of 12 species. The message was simple. We detected movement near your Sunday unknown energy signatures. Not ours. Be alert. Leora frowned. Energy signatures? That close to Sol? Rayan checked the scanners. His face turned pale. 3 ships entered the solar system without permission. Their designs were sharp and dark, similar to the Valari ships that had chased them earlier. They're scanning the Ember array, Rayan said. Trying to steal the data. Leora clenched her fists. Warn the fleet. No one gets near the construction zone. This was humanity's project. Humanity's responsibility. No one else would take it from them. More days passed. The Ember array reached 40% completion. But the stars around the galaxy kept dimming. A huge region of space went completely dark, and no signals came from the civilizations living there. Everyone knew what that meant. The hunger was moving, and it was getting closer. One night, as Leora walked through the engineering tower, she stopped by a window overlooking Earth. The city lights shimmered softly, peaceful and alive. Children played in the parks. People cooked dinner. Couples walked under street lamps. To them, life was normal. They had no idea the universe was breaking apart around them. Rayan appeared beside her. You look tired. I haven't slept in 2 days. You should try. Leora shook her head. The Ember array needs to be done before the hunger reaches us. I can rest later. Rayan didn't argue. He understood. A week later, the alarms rang across the solar system. Commander Hayes, a star 2 light-years away, has collapsed. It was stable last month, and now it's gone. Leora rushed to the bridge. The hologram map flashed red. The dying star wasn't just dimming. It was consuming itself inward, shrinking like a melting sphere. Rayan swallowed hard. This is the closest one yet. Leora whispered, The hunger is near. Suddenly, a chilling question formed in her mind. If the hunger destroys stars, how far can it travel? And is it already watching their sun? Another emergency report arrived, this one worse than the last. Unknown distortions appeared at the edge of the solar system. Space itself flickered. Light bent strangely, as if pulled by an unseen force. Rayan looked terrified. Leora. The distortions matched the patterns found in the ruins. The same patterns that marked where the hunger struck. A heavy silence filled the room. Leora stared at the hologram of the sun, its warm golden light shining like a beacon. We're out of time. She turned to her crew. Full speed, every worker, every ship. We finish the Ember array now. Her voice echoed with determination. Humanity had been chosen by ancient minds. They were given the Ember Protocol for a reason. They were the last species with the courage to fight the darkness. And now the darkness was coming. The galaxy held its breath as Leora prepared for the final battle. The battle to save their sun. Strange distortions rippled at its edge. Like waves formed in empty space. Lights bent. Shadows stretched. And deep inside those distortions, something moved slow, silent, but powerful. No one on Earth could see it with their eyes, but every scientist understood what it meant. The hunger had arrived. Commander Leora Hayes stood on the main control platform of the Ember array. She wore a sleek command suit, glowing with the same golden energy as the giant structures surrounding the Sunday. The array, now nearly complete, hovered across millions of kilometers of space. Giant silver frames, energy collectors, rotating reactors, and long stabilizing arms that formed a massive circular network around the Sunday. Rayan Malik stood beside her, checking readings on his tablet. His voice shook slightly. The hunger's energy signature is increasing. We don't know how long until it reaches the Sunday. Then we finish the array now, Leora said firmly. No delays. A dozen engineers rushed around them, shouting updates. Reactor link gamma online. North arc stabilizing. Energy collectors at 92% capacity. The Ember array came alive piece by piece. The sun glowed brighter as machines redirected its heat and light through massive conduits. It was like building a shield and a heart at the same time. Back on Earth, news of the cosmic threat spread everywhere. People watched the sky in fear and wonder. Some gathered in parks, holding hands. Others cried or prayed. But many stood silently, watching the sun with the hope that humanity's greatest creation would save them. On Mars, workers in red suits cheered as the array activated. Children on the moon pointed at the bright streaks of construction ships. Even species across the galaxy, friends and rivals alike, paused their conflicts to watch the humans attempt the impossible. Humanity had become the center of the galaxy's hopes. Inside the control center, alarms began echoing again. "Commander Hayes," a technician called out. "We have unknown ships approaching the array." Leora turned sharply. "Identify them." The hologram zoomed in. 3 large alien vessels. Sleek, curved, with sharp blue lights raced toward the array. The same Valari Union ships that chased them weeks ago. Rayan clenched his jaw. "They're trying again. They want the Ember Protocol." "We don't have time for this," Leora muttered. "If they damage even one part, the whole array could collapse." The Valari ships broadcast a message. "Human vessel. Surrender the Ember Protocol. Its power is too great for your species. We will take control of the array now." Leora stepped forward and responded calmly. "This array is humanity's responsibility," she said. "We will not surrender it." The Valari repeated their demand, but she cut the channel. "Defense grid online," she ordered. Dozens of small human drones flew outward, forming a protective sphere. They didn't fire first, but they were ready. The Valari ships paused. For a moment, no one moved. Then, something unexpected happened. A new ship appeared, a smooth white vessel belonging to the Galactic Cooperative. Then another. And another. Soon, 10 ships from 10 different species formed a protective line in front of the array. The cooperative sent a broadcast to everyone. Humanity is not alone. Leora felt a tightness in her chest, not fear, but something warmer. Hope. The message in the alien vault had said, "You are not alone." And now she understood what it meant. The galaxy had chosen to fight beside them. The Valari ships retreated. Humanity could finally focus on the true enemy. The distortions at the edge of the solar system grew thicker. Rayan studied the data with wide eyes. "Commander, the hunger is forming a shape." "A shape?" Rayan zoomed in. The screen showed a massive dark region. Not a ship, not a creature, something stranger. A swirling black field that absorbed light and heat, like a living shadow. "It's pulling energy from nearby stars," Rayan said. "If it reaches the sun, we lose everything." Leora breathed deeply. "Prepare the Ember array for ignition." Every technician froze. "Commander," one said. "Activation before full completion might cause instability." "We don't have time to wait," Leora replied. "Run every safety check you can. Then activate." The team scattered to obey. Minutes later, the Ember array glowed brighter than ever before. The massive structures lit up with golden energy, forming a shining ring around the Sunday. Reactors hummed. Power surged. The sun itself responded, its surface rippling with new strength. "Energy output rising," Rayan shouted. "We're channeling power from Jupiter through the conduits. The array is ready." Leora placed her hand on the central command console. "Begin ignition." The sun roared. A massive wave of light erupted outward, too bright for any normal eye to see. It wasn't a destructive explosion. It was controlled. Powerful. Like a supernova, held by steady hands. The hunger felt it. The distortions recoiled, bending violently, as if struck by a force it had never encountered before. Space trembled. Light waves shook. But the hunger pushed forward again. "It's resisting," Rayan yelled. We need more power. Leora turned to the hologram of the Sunday. Increase flare output to maximum. But that could overheat the array, a technician warned. Leora's voice stayed firm. Do it. The ember array released a second flare, bigger, brighter, stronger than the first. This time, the wave struck the hunger directly. The dark field twisted and shrank, pulling inward as if in pain. Rayan watched the sensors in disbelief. It's working! We're forcing it back! Leora tightened her fists. Good. Let's end this. The hunger tried again, stretching its shadows toward the sun like giant arms, but the array kept firing controlled hyperflares. Each flare tore through the dark field, pushing it farther away. At last, the hunger broke. A final ripple spread across space, and the entire dark distortion collapsed like dust in a storm. What remained drifted into the void, weak, scattered, defeated. The sun returned to its normal glow. The ember array stood tall around it, shining like a golden ring. And humanity had won. Silence filled the control center. Then cheers erupted loud, joyful, relieved. Engineers hugged. Pilots cried. Scientists shouted in victory. Rayan leaned against the console, laughing breathlessly. We did it, he said. We really did it. Leora allowed herself a small smile. Yes. Humanity. Saved. The Sunday. But it wasn't just the sun they saved. Across the galaxy, alien species watched the victory signal. Some clapped in excitement. Others bowed in respect. For the first time in history, humanity was seen not as newcomers, but as protectors. 3 days later, representatives from dozens of species arrived near the sun to honor the victory. Ships of every shape and size floated beside the ember array. A cooperative ambassador spoke loudly, his voice echoing across the channel. Humans did the impossible. They built a machine older civilizations never completed. They saved not only their own star, but many others. Today, we recognize them as the keepers of starlight. Leora stood quietly, listening. She was thinking about the ancient builders, the lost civilization who created the Ember Protocol and hoped someone would finish what they started. Humanity had fulfilled that hope. Rayan walked up beside her. What now? Leora looked at the golden array around the Sunday. Now, she said, we help others. There are many dim stars out there. Many civilizations in danger. We have the Ember Protocol. It's time to use it. Rayan smiled. Star healers. Leora nodded. Let's ignite the dawn for others. And with that, humanity began a new chapter in the galaxy, not as explorers, not as warriors, but as the